have a new patch for Overwatch 2, and while there were also some super jump changes that were made, the thing we're going to talk about today is Moira's Necrotic Orb. And as you can see here, it is putting up a 75% damage reduction on targets so their ults aren't taking her down. Its other traits that you'd be looking at is a 4-second duration, a 3-meter explosion, so yes, she can aim it at the ground, aim it at walls and hit people, things like that, and a 16-second cooldown. It is split from her Harmony Orb, which is now on its own separate cooldown, so they're two separate abilities. So this is her new thing, and it definitely does give her some utility. This is a really powerful ability. So is everything right? Does this make Moira good? Does it fix all the problems? And does it make sense to be in the game? Well, there's actually been a fair amount of complaining on this one, where you can see that we see people over here. There's been lots of DPS complaints, lots of other players' complaints of it just feels terrible to get this orb on you. It's terrible. It can't be in the game. 75% damage reduction. Ult's not killing people. That's just stupid. And we can see a tweet here, Moira negating 75% damage for 4 seconds is broken, but Ana negating 100% healing for the same duration is fine. Make it make sense. Well, I will make it make sense. Thank you, because we have seen both of these takes quite a bit here. So how can it be that 75% damage reduction is maybe not great for the game, but 100% healing reduction is potentially okay? Well, here's how it works. When you're playing a support and you 100% can't heal someone, there's other things that you can still do. You can heal someone who wasn't purpled, but even if that's not an option, every support is designed in such a way that it's a support, not a healer. It can do something else. Lucio can go over to speed. Mercy can decide that she's going to boost that person instead of healing, or other supports can just go ahead and go into doing damage. They're still allowed to interact with the game in a meaningful way that affects the outcome of the fight. They don't just have to AFK, they don't just have to hide. Now, the 75% damage reduction on the orb is certainly better than being stunned for 4 seconds. You still have movement control of your character, which would feel better than a 4-second stun, but you do basically have to just leave the fight because you're not doing anything. You really don't do anything if you are a damage hero who doesn't have resources to donate. If you're a tank, you can maybe give away a Zarya bubble or throw down a bear to help your team. Okay, that's something you can do. If you're a support who's in a situation where you can go, okay, my Ana shots don't do damage anymore, but I can heal other people, you still have something to do. But for DPS, this just absolutely sucks, and you don't get to play the game for those 4 seconds, which is not only worse than not being able to heal a couple people for 3 seconds, as we have on the Ana Nade now. I'd argue that this is actually still worse than Moira's hack. Than Sombra's hack in Overwatch 1, where you lost your use of abilities, but you still had movement as well as weapon play that you could make there. I'd argue that this feels worse. So I don't expect this to fully stick, at least not in this form. I would hope that we would see a reduction on the power of this, especially since Blizzard already knows how powerful things like 30% damage boosts have been on previous Discord, on Mercy Boost, things like that. I would hope that rather than starting with 75%, we might tune this number down and maybe it'll be 50%, maybe it'll be 40%. Either one of these are still very powerful numbers that we'd be looking at. So what if we reduced the strength of this to 40 or 50%? What if we knocked the cooldown on a Necrotic Orb down to 13 per seconds instead of 16? So still mostly a once per fight thing, but maybe 2 is a little more common. But right now, you don't 100% have to hold it. And then you could also take away the explosion, the 3-meter explosion, make it a full-on skill shot. Moira's still got auto-aim on her right click. She's still got a cleave for her healing. She's still got the healing orb that'll bounce around. But make this be a full-on skill shot if it's going to be such a powerful ability, not a shoot it at their feet. So that's what I would like to see change-wise. I think there is a place to come in here and say, hey, Temporal, you want to basically nerf it, but that doesn't really make sense because she's still not the most powerful support. Zen and Ana are probably still both better than her, even with her 75% damage reduction exploding Necrotic Orb. And I'd say you're right, but we still want to make a game that is fun for everyone to play. Just telling DPS players, no, you're not allowed to play the game for 4 seconds isn't actually healthy. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like the adjustments I'd make to the ability? Would you make different ones? Do you think DPS players are just belly aching over nothing here and they just need to suck it up in a game where 100% heal reduction already exists? Or do you maybe look at this and say, no, they changed hack for a reason. Let's not put something as bad as hack into the game in this form now. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you're enjoying the content, drop a like, consider subscribing for more thought-provoking Overwatch and Overwatch 2 content, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, Temporal out.